Hello, welcome to Isabel's Ciné-club. Today we're going to speak in English because my guest is speaking in English and also Spanish and also Dutch and also a bit French, I guess. I'm welcoming DeNeira. She's an actress for theater, for cinema. She's doing also voiceover, advertising, but she's also a dancer and a movement coach. So she has a lot of casquette, as we say in French. So welcome, Cici. How are you?
Fine. Thank you for having me here today.
And thank you for accepting the invitation.
Yes, yes. It's been, like you said, a long journey from all these different things that I have done. But originally, as I need to let you know, I did start as a dancer. I was
Oh,
originally
great. But we'll
a
talk about it. So, you're from the US with Ecuadorian origins, but you're based in Belgium, in the Flanders part. So, you're
yes,
going to talk about us. You're going to talk about it with us. But firstly, I just wanted to say how we met because that's what I like to do. Do you remember
yes,
how we met?
yes, yes. We were at the gathering for the actors, and it was quite an interesting gathering with all different up and coming and artists that want to connect, which is was a wonderful thing that I attended, and this way I went ahead and met you, and we've been friends ever since.
Exactly, and that was great that you actually came forward and you were so sociable and you wanted to meet a lot of people. It was at La Tricoterie. It was an event that I was helping
Yes, indeed.
organize. It was comédien.be, and we wanted to. It was like a networking between actors and
Yes,
directors and casting agents, and it was a nice party. I have to admit, it was
yeah,
well organized because a lot of people came, and it was the nice a nice opportunity for people to meet other people that they don't have the opportunity to meet otherwise, especially for you, for example, who live in Flanders. You could
yep,
actually meet people from the French speaking part, so
yeah.
it was great.
So much and so many creative talent that was there as well. I mean, you have, like you said, your directors, your comedian, as you say in French, and you also have uh, dancers and people who do workshops, and it's a good way to let one another know and spread their messages as to what is up and coming in the area, not just Brussels, but also, as you say, because I'm Antwerp based. So yeah, it was quite a wonderful gathering. Appreciated that. They
Yeah.
should always continue that, and I hope they will.
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah,
So, tell us about your life. So, you're from the US, but you have origins from Equatoria. So,
yes.
can you Ecuador? So,
I
what brings
come.
you in Belgium?
Okay, well, I come from a creative background. My grandfather was a writer, and also he wrote music as well, and was very much involved with the culture house in Ecuador, the Casa de la Cultura. But his brother was the president of the culture house for many years in the 70s, and he is also a very well known and respected novelist and writer as well. And he was also a professor, and I have a cousin in Ecuador who is still currently, yeah, he's a painter. Another cousin who is a presenter there. But I came to the U.S. When I was in diapers, and we lived there. Everybody migrated there, with the exception of a couple of family members that stood in Ecuador. And then being in the U.S., I grew up in New York, and then later on moved to Miami, which, I was there until my move here to Belgium. And I did my training there. I started when I was quite young. I was 4 years old when I began dancing. And I thought that was the thing that I was going to do for the rest of my life. And it was until I decided to move on as an actor, which how I got into that was because of
Yeah.
being as a child performer with theater. So I did a lot of musical theater because, if you want to be involved, you have to know a little bit of everything, jack of all trades, as we say. So I did classical ballet, jazz, tap dancing. Later on, also moved into ballroom dancing and everything. And well, I mean, I had to keep up because I was much shorter than a lot of the other girls. So usually as a dancer, I would be put at the ends, never in the middle, like to create that effect. And
It's strange that you say that because when I was doing ballet when I was young,
you would
I did
think,
ballet from 9 till 14.
yeah,
I was in the tallest group, so we
yeah.
were always at the back. So it's really
No, no,
strange.
but in musical theater, like when they do the chorus and chorus lines and everything, as you grow older, they usually put me towards the end. But then when I was doing cruise ships in Miami, it kind of came in handy because everything was lower. So I did a lot
Ah,
of
yeah.
acrobatic dancing as well. And
Wow.
with my partner, and well, he was not my partner, he was my dance partner, Enrique, who is no longer with us, but he was very talented. And we would do also side projects on South Beach as well. So we were known pretty much everywhere for our crazy acrobatic dancing. And
Wow.
yeah, it was quite a sight. So from
So
there, then
tell
I
us about your training, because you
okay.
studied in different places. So you said
Yeah.
you were in New York. So what was the name of the schools where you were? And do you remember some teachers or mentors or people who really influenced your work as a dancer or as a comedian, as an actress?
So there, like you said, there were many. I remember I was very small. I was in New Jersey training at it doesn't exist anymore, I don't think, Danny Holleran School of Dance. And then with No Small Parts Theater, Linda Bell Kurtz was very good at training us as young performers and gave us all a great opportunity. I mean, that was really crazy. I learned pointe and like I said, continued ballet. And it was a bit of a time for me because as to train, you need a lot of money. And I was blessed that Linda Bell Kurtz at the time, who was with No Small Parts, saw that I had some potential, and she took me under her wing. And thank goodness to her, I kept on, performing, and until my move, like I said, to Miami as a young teenager. And then from there, there was a group in not Miami Beach, excuse me, North Miami, more inner city children's dance company. Florence Lithcom, I think her name was, if I remember correctly. And that was in the late 70s, ballet concerto school. I remember taking the bus going there, the bus system in Miami was really something. Still, I don't think is that well. So I would make the effort as a young performer, going to all these things, working hard, going to school, working, and also doing my training, and in between auditioning all the time. Back then,
So the question
Miami,
I like,
yeah.
the question I like to ask is, how did your parents react when you were so involved in the art? I know that you were coming from an artistic family,
Yes.
but how did they react when you actually were more and more involved, and then it was more and more obvious as well that you would be a professional?
Yeah, well, the thing was, as I was explaining, I do come from a very, very artistic background, but there was a situation where there was a divorce when I was quite young. And I didn't really know so much about how much my family was involved until I got older, actually. So I guess one would say it was more in my blood without realizing it. And then as we connected as adults, everybody was like, wow, I mean, the blood calls, because who would have thought that, that after not being in connection family wise for so many years, and then connecting, seeing that there was still so much that was in common with one another. And I'm
Yeah,
very happy to, yeah, it felt good. It made sense. Do you know what I mean? Having
totally.
yeah, it made sense that why was I prone to have this like inner love for everything, cinema wise, theater wise, dance wise. It had to come from somewhere. My mother very much kept it low key about my father's side, like I said. So as I grew older, then that's when I had a lot of revelations come my way about family members and everything, which I'm very much connected to now. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So we are going to talk about cinema because it's a channel, a YouTube channel dedicated to
Yeah.
cinema. So how did you start having actually, because you were doing a lot of casting, I can imagine, but how does it start really? Because when was the first time that you actually entered the world of cinema?
It was in Miami. It was for a film, Only the Strong, which I did not get as credited for, as we say. Um, when you first begin in the business, you're going to find that a lot. You want to get in. How do you get in? It's so difficult. And back then, you had to go to the auditions, and you had to do the Polaroid shots, and you had to actually go to the casting with the papers and do the auditions there. And then from there, I got a little small part in that. And again, auditioning, finding an agent, which I managed to do. There was an agent in Miami, Mara Zitman, who I'm still very much friends with. She had International Artist Group. That was the name of the organization. And if you were an up and coming, performer, you would be with her agency. She has a few, if one were to look up great artists that came from her, local artists as well. And yeah, like I said, then after performing as a actor on stage, not so much doing the dancing anymore, I got older and I was already in my mid 30s, but that doesn't mean that you stop dancing. Of course, I kept on doing things on the side, help coach, dancers or actors that needed movement, which is another thing. Jumping over now to Brussels, when I was doing productions with the American Theater Company, fine, theater company. I work with Eduardo Alardo, and he was the lead, and Merrick, and he needed, coaching with the movement for the elephant man, excuse me, the main character. And I was there and I assisted, and having dance as a background, a lot about how to create the feel of the character. And he is an excellent actor, and he followed every step by step. And every time we even run into each other to this day, he'll still go, as a
Yeah.
sign. But yeah, I don't know if I strayed away from the question or not, but yeah.
Yeah, but because there is so many things to say, but I
Yes,
wanted to know exactly how you started in the cinema, but then
and then
what we
going into
can,
cinema,
yeah,
meeting one actor with the
yeah.
other, they suggested me for to did you hear about this project coming up? And I'm like, oh no, I didn't know. And then they uh, gave the number and everything, and then I of course I auditioned, and that's how I would go ahead and get certain roles, never just by who I was, because no one knows who I am or anything. I was like the new kid coming here, not people not realizing that, I've had experience from being a young person, but cinema is so different from theater. It's
Of
totally different
course.
ways of performing. So
Yeah, but what
that's a
you're
training in
telling us,
itself.
yeah, but what you're telling is that there is a lot of solidarity as well between actors and between technicians in the field.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
always tend to think that people are very individualist, etc., but apparently not.
Not for me. I find that well, my experiences is that being very open, as I am, and being talkative, and wanting to be informed, and then people knowing this about me, that they're kind enough that they also inform me back on what might be up and coming and all. But nonetheless, I mean, you still have to audition for your role to see if you fit in, for the part. Now,
And how do you
I
prepare?
don't know how it happened with like Space Boy, but I was very
Yeah,
fortunate that Bernard de Jesus had called me, that they were interested, that they've heard of me, and for the role of that I had done. And
yeah,
I went ahead, and sure enough, it was wonderful. Everybody, Olivier Peru was quite how do you say, easygoing and funny. And yeah, the whole cast, the kids, they were
So
yeah.
we're going to explain for the people who don't know actually.
Oh,
So because you haven't talked about how you arrived in Belgium, but
yes,
then we will talk about the project you did as a Space Boy, for example, which is a movie directed by Olivier Perrou, as you just said, and
yes,
then we will
yes.
talk about it. So how
Oh,
did you arrive?
the move to Belgium. That was because I met a Belgian in Miami, of all places. Fell in love, and
It
then
wasn't Jean-Claude Van Damme.
no, it was not. If only it was a normal Belgian, meaning normal Belgian that he was not in the business or anything.
Yeah.
And then I got married and I moved over here. And for a couple of years there, I was a stay-at-home mom raising children. But the children themselves also went to music school, went to dance school, art school. Getting them involved to see what it is. Maybe if they liked any of the artistic things, and which one son, Tristan, he still he graduated from the Lucas School, and he won an animation prize from New York, and he also to this day he does projects in and out in Antwerp. And my daughter
Okay,
for a
good.
while there was doing art, and my other son Ryan, he does a lot of acting over with the Synact group from Abbas. Abbas runs it. Abbas Fassé, I think his name is. I always mispronounce his name. But they're also a great school for up and coming people who want to know how to act in front of a screen, and they do monologues, and they do training. So my son Ryan, he's done a lot there, and he's on the side also does some coaching for actors as well. He assists, not he assists them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In preparing for their monologues and everything. But he himself is also an actor. So
Okay.
the
So
family
I
line
see
is
that you're very proud of your children, but let's
yes,
go back to you as an actress, as an artist.
yes,
So here, how did you manage to enter? So here you have an agent, I suppose.
yes, I
And
do. Very
how did you manage to get an agent?
one thing gloriously leads to another. I was on set in the short film Marquis Place by Annick Christians, and I did a part there. And talking with the cast and crew, I met Alain Van Gutham, who
Yes,
is involved with many things. He's really
Lucky
talented
Star.
and amazing. And he also is involved rather with his Lucky Star International Talent Agency, and
Yes.
I was very fortunate to also now be involved with them now for several years. And this is how I got involved with being involved with the agency here. But
Okay, that's great.
as we know,
I've
very
met
important.
actually I've met Alain Van Gutem, and I've just
Yes,
met Annie Christians thanks to Lucas Tavernier. So yeah, they are great people. So we say
yeah.
hello to them.
Yes, yes. Like I said, one thing leads to another, and for some reason, the same likes draw the same likes as I believe. Like you get drawn to the same like-minded people.
Yes.
So they are just an amazing group, and it's a small community compared to maybe the rest of the world here, but what a great community it is once you get to know one another, because
Yeah, the
there
thing
are
that I like.
multi-talented people here.
Yeah, the things that I like the most about the Flemish part, because you are in Antwerp, which is in the
Yes,
Flanders part of Belgium, is that when an actor is releasing a movie, the whole community is going to see the movie. There is
very
I
supportive.
wouldn't say stardom, but there is a really a support from the
Yeah,
population. That's not what is really happening in the Walloon part of Belgium, in the French speaking part. It's harder to motivate people to go and see Belgian movies in cinemas. So
yeah.
I think that's really, that's a strong feeling that you have in Flanders, that when you have a project, when you're in a project, you know that you will have a community that will follow you.
Well, I've always been supportive of my so-called actor, creative body, mind, souls out there. So if you have a project, I'm there.
Yeah, that's great. And that's what I saw, because remember we went to see a movie together in Brussels. It was at Cinéma Le Stockel. It was the avant-premiere of the movie of Eva Coles. And
Yep.
it was a great movie with Yolande Moreau and other great actors. And we went together.
When Nabil Malat, the one who won the Enzer last year,
Yeah.
year before, I remember when he was doing his premiere for Raphael in Brussels, and I had attended. We've become friends throughout the years as well. And look at him. He is just incredible. And yeah, I was there for that support. And in there, I also got to know a lot of other people who were like-minded, as I say, and they've moved on as well to other projects. But it's always the beginning. It's hard, and it's not easy, of course, being an actor outside of Belgium, in Belgium. But I do believe that if you you have, you know,
To
good
persevere.
character and great talent, you persevere, you know.
Yeah, of course. So, talking about the projects that you did in cinema, so we
Yeah.
can talk about Luc Besson. It's not everyone who can say that he's been in a Luc Besson film called Dogman.
Yes, Dogman. But with Dogman, I was there filming for almost a week, and he was yeah, quite wonderful. Caleb, some people call him Caleb or Caleb. I tend to want to call him Caleb.
Yeah,
But
as in English,
he was
people say
quite very
Landry Jones.
humble, down to earth person. You know, you would think someone his caliber, you never know what to think. Are they going to be not wanting to talk to you or anything? But he was quite humble. I mean, he came up to me and I was like, oh my goodness. He came up to me and he says, Miss Cece, would you like to have a cup of tea? And I'm like,
Oh, that's
well,
nice.
you don't have to do that for me. He's like, no, Miss Cece. And the thing was, he was so much in character. He had his braces on, and he never took them off or anything. He just stood acting, doing everything as if he were portraying Douglas. And no, I found that quite an experience. And like I said,
didn't even know that they were shooting in Belgium, actually. I was really
they were not.
surprised.
This was in France. This was
In France, okay. Because there is another Belgian actress who's in it.
Sorry.
There is another actress, I think, Leticia Mampaka. I think she also has a small part in the film. I don't know if you know her.
I don't recall running into her, but there were, like I said, there were several of us.
Okay.
The set itself was quite amazing. It was, yeah, different lots, different. I didn't realize it was so huge.
Okay.
The setup in France, but it was quite wonderful to at least have had the experience. Well, I'm looking forward to other things to pop up, whether it's going to be with Europa Corps or with anywhere around the world, because I just love
anywhere around the world.
Anywhere around the world. That's the beauty of this business.
Yeah,
rather.
because you were in the Family Close 3, and you were also in. So we talked about Spaceboy already.
Yeah.
You
Family
did a lot of
Close
short
3
films.
is incredible because I worked with Mo Bakker before. I've known Mo since he was little. Now, when I was trying to break into TV cinema here, I'm like, if you don't know how to start, you're from the other side of the world, how do you start? So I went ahead, and in the beginning, you did the figurant thing. You do, not everyone, but I mean, I had to, because I did not know any other way. One thing led to another, and as I met some directors and all, they're like, your experience, you should be doing other things. And I'm like, oh, but if you're somebody like me who is totally blind to how to begin in this side of the world, how do you begin? But one thing led to another, meaning, with me, as far as getting more and more into doing more projects with theater, more projects with cinema. But I just wanted to point out Mo because I remember him as a little kid. And then I remember him also in Binti, because like I said, it was a small thing. Ran into him again. The kid is genuinely gold. met the family and everything, all a bunch of actors involved in creative, being creative. So like I said, like-minded people. And now when we filmed Family Clause 3 on set, it was so cute because he's now this big, tall young man. And I'm like, he came over and he was like, Cece. And I'm like, oh, Mo. He remembered. You know, he
Oh,
never
that's
forgets.
nice.
Sweet kid.
It's always nice to have that
Yeah.
that feeling. So you did a lot of TV shows as well, like
Yeah.
Geld Wolven and other
Kel
things. Do you
Bolden.
have a
Yeah.
special thing to say about one of these characters that you did on TV?
Joren, oh, my dog. Hold one quick second.
Yeah. So meanwhile, she's
So this is
she's
live
taking
TV,
it up.
guys. This is what happens.
Yeah, don't
You have,
worry, it
you have, you
happens.
have
It
this.
happens. So you were saying about TV,
No,
yeah,
Jordan,
family
quite
maybe.
sweet, quite kind. But I wanted to jump back to really way back now. We're talking early 90s when I was doing television for a very big program in for us Spanish speakers, Sábado Gigante, for many years, for a couple of years, not many, couple of years. I work with Maria O'Connor, Maria Torres O'Connor. She is now very much involved with Broadway productions. She was one of the assistant choreographers for On Your Feet, and she does many other projects as well and runs things near Broadway. But she and I we were working together on that show called Sábado Gigante with Don Francisco. What we would do was weekly, we would do the different choreographed dances. We would be the show dancers, as a matter of fact. And that was an experience in itself. It was quite fun and quite, how do you say, I had to audition. I had not had to audition. I had to perform. I had to rehearse. And then after the production, get on a cruise ship to go do cruise ship shows.
Wow.
Get off the cruise ship shows, go back to audition or rehearse with a theater group. So back then I was kind of like doing TV, theater, and side projects, and in between auditioning. It was really a wild time. Right before I came to Belgium, that was part of the reason why I moved, was to like kind of just like slow down, just get married and have kids for a little while. But then after that, I really wanted to get back in. So
yeah, I can imagine. We haven't talked about the picture that is behind you, which is a beautiful picture.
Oh my goodness.
So can you tell us the story about that speech picture? What was the project?
Okay, now this is the thing. Way back in the day, we used to do 8x10 glossies, as we call them. These were our headshots, you know. So this particular one is my headshot from back in the day. So that represents more, if you see it, I am a dancer, you know. I am looking like I can portray any type of background because I did do
it's glamorous.
my heart in Florida, and it was a theater production, and there I played an Asian army nurse that went to war, and the director who directed that loved the look of my 8x10, that one, and I got cast for that and auditioned for that because of the look. So not only was I able to portray Latino roles or just in general roles, but just I can morph into more or less anything. And
that's great.
And that was the look that we were going for back then, you know, but that was literally showcasing the fact that, you know, I am or was it back then a professional performer, dancer, you know.
Okay. We haven't talked about Philip Michael Thomas, the guy from Miami Vice.
Oh my goodness. I appreciate Philip Michael Thomas so much, and not only myself, but many of us in South Florida. Did you know that he, at the time, while he was with Miami Vice, opened up a theater in North Miami Beach? And there, us as young performers, he had workshops, you know, acting workshops. We would have readings. We would have rehearsal space. He was so supportive that when I would do my side projects, as a dancer with my partner, who we would do acrobatic performances, he would come and show up and be in the audience, supporting the things that we would do. He would come out. So out of his busy schedule, he would take the time out for the people who were very much involved with the Miami Way Theater, and show his respects to us. And yeah, his daughter and I still are very much in touch, Image, and she is a country singer now. If you ever have a chance, look her up on YouTube. She's got wonderful music.
Okay,
And
perfect.
yeah, his kids are creative, and we did a little short film. I don't know where that exists anymore, because I don't even have a copy of that one, about Black Caesar, he called it. And there's photography somewhere I have listed. I believe it's on my Instagram. If not, a photo. I don't have the photo with me because this is live again, but there's a great shot of me and Philip together.
Yeah, I think I remember it. Yeah, I think I've seen it. Yeah.
Quite a beautiful picture, but there are a lot of other photos of that shoot as well. They exist. But like I said, that was early 90s, and I'd have to look those up again because that's really a precious time. But yeah, we all appreciate him. And out of that group that I was telling you, different people moved on to different areas, whether it's production or involved in other organizations in South Florida to this day. And Philip now, he's still in Florida, but he's just further up north,
Yeah, great. I have two more questions.
Sure.
The first one is CC. What does it stand for?
Oh my goodness. Everyone's called me Cece since I could remember. Cece comes from Ceci. Ceci. Ceci comes from Cecilia.
Okay.
Cecilia DeNeira, which I must confess, Cecilia DeNeira is my performer name. Because I'm actually, if you look at my grandfather, he was a Ribadeneira. So I derive from the family Ribadeneira. But for artistic purposes, I do go by Cici DeNeira.
Okay,
So
great.
it's my own. It's my own. Yes.
Yes. And second question, the last question is, who inspires you?
Hands down. Rita Moreno.
Yeah.
Rivera, they are legends. These are Latinas that perform.
Yeah.
Cheetah performed always on Broadway, and she's done movies.
And she won an Oscar.
And Rita Moreno. Rita Moreno has done absolutely everything as a child, which leads me to West Side Story, being a young girl.
Course.
Blew my mind. And to this day, I just love her. She's an icon for me. She's an icon. And way before her, as we all know, there was Rita Hayworth, who was actually Spaniard by birth. And she also got her start as a dancer, moved on to film. Rita, dancer, moved on to film. Cheetah, phenomenal dancer. These women, they just, I wanted to be like them growing up, and I just love them. Those are my how do you say, my loves. I will cherish these ladies for always.
Oh, great. I can understand. Yeah, because they are very complete, because they could sing, they could act, they could dance, and they were beautiful.
They had the thing, being as Latina women, I mean, we had to do everything, in order to be in the business. I mean, you want to get a little bit noticed or whatever, you better know how to not just salsa. You better know how to do the classical dance. You better know how to, like you said, jack of all trades, be able to be a chameleon, and that's how it was in Miami as well. I mean, when you're as a performer, as a dancer, you could not just dance one type of thing. You have to be able to know all types of styles if you want to be hired. And if you're good, you're good.
Okay. And Cici, what are your next projects? Do you have any?
In between at the moment, to be quite honest. But there's nothing to promote currently, unfortunately. But all I can tell you is in between. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yes. And do you want to add something? Is there a message that you would like to pass to the viewers?
to our young performers out there. Follow your heart. Your gut tells you this is what you want to do. Then you go ahead and do it. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not easy. Far from. You're going to have a lot of downs. Pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Have faith.
Great. Thank you. We will finish like that. Thank you very much, Cici. It was a pleasure to have you and to know you better, to know your career, about all you've done, etc. We could have stayed longer and talk much more, but it's already a beginning. I wish you the best, of course. I hope you will have soon great projects such as what's the name again? Dogman.
Everything
all around the world.
To it. Yes. Okay. I love you guys, and be positive.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who followed us. Thank you to Geronimo, who was following this live as well. And don't forget to subscribe to the page if you haven't done it yet. And I really wish you the best, Cici, and we will see each other soon, I hope, in Antwerp or anywhere else.
You're a doll. Thank you. Thank you.
Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. And thank you again. See you next week. Yes.